Hello, and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out in the communities doing beautiful things. We're delighted to have with us Ella Simpson. She is a defender of Fort Lauderdale United in the USL Super League. She is a rookie this year. She played collegiately at Samford, where she helped them win 3 conference championships. Ella, thanks a lot for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, first of all, I just want to ask you real quick, what has it been like this first year as a professional soccer player?
Well, it's been a huge blessing. I feel like I wasn't sure near the end of my college career if I wanted to play professionally. And I sustained an injury near the middle of my last college season to my ankle. And I think through that process, I've kind of never really been sidelined before and really was just like, wow, like I miss it and I don't want it to end at the college level. And so my career started a little bit crazy because I had surgery actually last January before I signed with the team in August. And so I spent the first 8 months out of college rehabbing, was fully cleared in June, and then got a short term deal with Orlando Pride that eventually helped get me to Fort Lauderdale United. And so just feel really blessed to be able to be here and live out my dream. And having worked so hard for it for that first 8 months, I feel so grateful to just be able to play and get minutes and get experience. So yeah, it's been really fun. We definitely had some trials, but I definitely know that this is where I'm meant to be and that I should continue my career as a professional soccer player.
And I did read a little bit about you earlier that you found, I think, when you were maybe second or third grade, you wrote a journal entry. Is this correct? You were cleaning out
Yeah.
your room recently with your mom, and
Hmm.
you found a journal entry where you wrote that you wanted to grow up to be a professional soccer player. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, that's really cool. But as a dad, I have 2 daughters. I've coached girls for over 20 years, and that really made me think because I've had tons of girls over the years who have told me their goal is to play in college, right? That seems
Hmm.
kind of like the goal for girls. And that really made me think because I don't think I've ever had a girl tell me their goal was to be a professional player. And so, number one, I just want to ask you, was there anything growing up, maybe, with your family sports that you can attest to that, like that drove you to that, or was that just your personality? And then, second of all, why do you think that is with girls? It kind of seems like their ultimate goal is just to play in college.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a good question. My dad is a pretty serious basketball coach. So he coached basketball at kind of at every level. Coached at Tallahassee Community College, at St. Louis for a little bit. He scouted for the Hawks, and then he coached at the high school level in Florida. And so having a dad that was a coach, even of a different sport, I feel like really encouraged me and my siblings to get into sports from a young age. We were always playing sports. I also played basketball competitively until high school, and then I had to make a choice. And so I really didn't start playing organized soccer until later on. And I would also like argue that that has really kept me from getting burnt out. So I actually started playing club soccer when I was like 10 or 11. And you hear most of these girls talk about how they've been playing since they were 3 or 4 years old and how
Yeah.
like they've like loved it. And that's only been what their sport was. But I was in basketball, I was in track, I was playing soccer. I tried all the things. And then when I really set my heart on soccer, I felt like I had all of the competitiveness and the drive to get better at my craft. And I do feel like it helped keep me from getting burnt out. It took a lot of work because I had to catch up to all these people that have been playing for 5, 6 years before I started. But I also feel like that was where like my personal determination and just hard work showed of like how I could have the goal to play at a D1 college, which that was my first goal. I do think a lot of girls only have a collegiate goal because they don't have like big dreams, and I think that's hard because I think that like you can do anything you set your mind to, and I'm a big believer of that. And I think at first my goal was to play in college, but then through college I figured out that my goal was to be a professional soccer player. So where I might have written that in second or third grade, almost like not knowing and not knowing what that would entail, and almost just seeing how that was like really cool and something that I wanted to do, I kind of like grew and developed in that dream and that goal, and was able to chase it more passionately once I accomplished the goal of being a collegiate soccer player.
Do you think also that, I mean, women's soccer has come a long way in our country in the last several years, um, from the NWSL and the USL Super League and additional teams. But do you think it also affects younger girls that, there aren't as many teams to look up to? or they're not as close to where they grow up, maybe?
Yeah, it's tremendously. I feel like I'm so grateful that I'm in the Super League right now because this is its second year. And 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I think they got rid of the NWSL draft. So there was actually not a great pathway for girls to sign professionally after they played in college. You had to have a free agent deal or someone that was working with you, and you also weren't really informed of that during your time in college. Like I never knew, I didn't have the resources, I didn't know how to find an agent, how to like get to that next step. I had to kind of figure it out all on my own. And so I do think that those kind of like informative things could be better and could help people understand what it takes and what you need and like the things that you need to get to the next level and to make that possible, because I think a lot of people just don't try because they don't know and they don't have like the resources available to them. I do think we've come a long way with the addition of another league, just because like I would not have had a chance to play with like unless the Super League was there, especially with when I came back from my injury and being mid-season of the NWSL. I think it would have been incredibly hard for me to be on an NWSL team long term. And so with the Super League starting in August, it was a really great opportunity for me to come and join and play professionally and start my rookie year. I do feel that they are starting to transition towards making this a lot better from the youth level by adding the academy programs. So on the guys' side, there's been lots of like academies, and there's like a pathway to. So say like Orlando now has an Orlando Pride pathway, and so girls can play from a youth level at this like club and join this academy to prep them for the professional level, if they know that that's their goal from the beginning. And so I think they've had that established on the guys' side for a while, and I think
Yeah.
that's a lot easier to just be seen by the professionals and be in that environment and know what it takes to be a professional, and like academy players can train with the pro teams and just intermingling of all of that. And so I do think they are taking the steps necessary, and it still has a little bit of ways to go, but it's incredibly positive to see them establish a new league 2 years ago that still has a really good base minimum pay, compared to where the NWSL was 8 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's going in the right direction. I think. What advice do you have for young girls? You're a rookie. You're not very old yet. You were just in that club scene in high school soccer not that long ago. What kind of advice do you have to younger girls right now that are maybe middle school, high school? They're playing club, they're doing all those things, and you know, people your age, you have to navigate, Instagram and all these ID camps and showcases. So, what advice do you have to them in terms of trying to reach their goals, whether it be, professional or college?
Yeah, so I think like the biggest thing that I wish like someone told me and was just to like ask yourself like why you're doing what you do. Like ask yourself why you're playing soccer. Is it truly your passion? Is it truly your joy? Or is it pressure from a parent? Or is it wanting to be like the people around you or wanting to fit in, or all these little things that you don't think are that like formative to your development and your growth as a player? But the key part that I believe that's going to take you to the next level is your deep passion and joy for the game. And if that's not something that you feel like you have, I would encourage people to try and put themselves in environments where they can find that joy and passion to really see if it's something that they want to do long term. And if it's not, then that's totally okay. It's not everyone's cup of tea, and they might have something else that suits them better, and they can excel at that in life. But I think what's really necessary, I guess, now in the professional level that I've realized is in these ruts where my team's not doing well and we're losing games and we're not having the best record, and it's hard to show up every day. Like, why am I showing up? Like, do I have a joy to just go out there and play the game? And is that what's keeping me going? Because when everything's going wrong, like you need to have that belief that you know you're passionate about something and you know you should be doing it, and to just keep moving forward. And it's hard to have that when you don't actually have a joy and love for the game. So yeah, that would be my biggest piece of
I think a
advice.
lot of young girls can learn a lot from that right now. Um, if I gave you the golden key to youth soccer in the United States right now, okay, and you could change one thing, what would you change about youth soccer for kids right now in the United States?
Hmm, that's a loaded question. The
One
first
thing.
thing that
Well, just
popped,
one thing.
the first thing that came to my mind was technical development. I think we're working towards it. I think the European style and the style over in England is super technical, and the American style is very athletic based. And I think we are moving towards a lot more technical development. But I think like that is something that would have helped me tremendously when I was younger, of like just working on the base technical things that you don't think are important, and like almost like learning more that way than just going based off of like, okay, you're athletic, you're tall, you're fast, like you can beat a player to the ball, but do you know like the game of soccer? Like, do you know like the right touch you have to take, like the application of all the technical work that you do? So I do think like almost like a broader, I guess, knowledge in a sense of the game, but how that affects trainings in the way that young kids train. Um, yeah, I think they're working towards it, but I definitely see like you see in college, especially on the women's side, a heavy push towards athleticism, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
like the best combination, obviously, is athleticism and technicality. And so, yeah, I think just focusing more on how you like players can technically develop from a younger age will help them in the future.
I love it. You heard it here first, folks. As you made that transition, you had a good college career, and obviously you're a professional, so you're doing really well. You've played, I think, every game this year for your team as a rookie. What has been the biggest challenge that you've noticed? That leap from, there's a leap from high school to college, and then the leap from college to professional. What's been the biggest challenge that you've noticed from just being a college player to now being a real professional?
Hmm. I think it's a combination of speed of play and decision making. I think in college you can get away with taking more than two touches on the ball, but the professional game really challenges you to play passes in one and two touch, and just adjusting to that was probably a little bit difficult at first for me. Um, and then decision making, like everything is a lot more tactical, and I have to know like the formation I'm in and what's like players are suited best in the formation, the players around me, like how I'm playing them the pass, the speed of pass I'm playing to them, like giving them direction of where to go. And I think like as a center back and as a defender, it's really important so I can help lead my team better because I'm supposed to be a communicator and a leader on the field, and I can see the big picture, right? And so I think decision making and understanding like the tactical realm of like soccer is a lot more like dependent in the pro game than it was in college, at least for me personally. And with that, I think another thing I want to add is that is definitely like the mental side of being an athlete. I wasn't challenged as much in college. Like I said, Stanford did really well. We had a pretty good record most of the time. We were also in college. Like you had classes, you had other things you were doing, but like this is your job as a pro, and this is your life essentially. And it's hard to not make it your sole identity. But if it's your sole identity and it's not going well, like the truth is you're going to get lost in it. And so I think just working on that mental performance side of things and like what things are in my control, what things are out of my control, like how can I approach each day as a new day and like treat it as it's in my best interest, no matter how the day goes, no matter how the training goes, no matter how the game goes. And it's something I'm learning and working through right now too in the middle of our season. So
We talked a little bit off camera before we started recording today about your season, and you guys have a little bit of a break here coming up, right?
mhm.
So, what are some goals now? You've got several games under your belt now as a professional with Fort Lauderdale. What are some goals you would like to see your team improve on or accomplish throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm really excited. I'm excited for the second half of the season. Our team's been through a lot. We've had a lot going on. We've had a lot of players in and out. We've had some staff changes, and we're just we're in a slump right now. And I think we're excited for the next couple of weeks to train and to just try different formations and see what suits us best, so that we can be on the front foot in the second half of the season. But yeah, I'm most excited because I think you can develop a lot more in training when there aren't games every single week, because you have to manage the player load, and players that are playing 90 might not be able to train certain days, and it's kind of hard to get full team trainings. And so I do think that the ability to have the next 3 weeks to fully train as a team will be really helpful. Goals are obviously still to make playoffs. I mean, we're near the bottom of the table right now, but there's a 5 point difference between fourth place and eighth place. And so the next couple of games are really crucial and really important. Something we've been working on is just a lot of behind the ball stuff and how we can prevent conceding. We've had a lot of unfortunate goals scored on us, and sometimes that's the game and that's what happens. But we're working on how we can best prevent ourselves from conceding and then just get back on the winning side of things. I think that's definitely a goal in the next few games, and we play some really incredible teams. So we play I think the three teams at the top of the table in the next, but I'm really excited for it, and I think it'll be be a great test for us after the training couple of weeks we have.
Well, it's always good to get a break sometimes and just kind of regroup. And like you said, I'm sure you guys will sort it out and finish the season strong. If you're just joining us, we're here with Ella Simpson, starting defender with the Fort Lauderdale United in the USL Super League. It's a women's professional league here in the United States. Ella, uh, kind of what brought us together was that I noticed that you recently had a relationship or a partnership here with Uno Zero. And here at Straight from the Training Ground, we're good friends with Uno Zero. They've been very supportive of us here on our podcast and with some nonprofit things we do with kids and soccer. So I know them very well. Sam's a great guy. They're a great company. Tell us a little bit about your partnership with Uno Zero and how that came about.
Yeah, so about halfway through the first half of the season, Sam reached out to me. I think he just found my profile on socials and thought that I'd be a good ambassador for his brand. And he told me a little bit about his company and what he's done and his vision and all of the things that he wants to accomplish. And I really just had a heart for him being local and being in Hollywood and being so close that I loved to support him. So we got in a couple of meetings, and then I ended up signing a partnership contract that results in me wearing Sam's products and receiving products as compensation. And so I received a few pair of cleats from Sam, and I've gone out and helped him with a few marketing things and taken some videos for him to help promote his brand. And the cleats are great. I've never worn any cleats other than Nike cleats. But I once I tried them on in one of our first meetings, I was like, you know what? I don't have any cleats with circular studs. Like when we play on turf, they could be beneficial. Like almost just saw the need to have an extra pair of cleats that were a different style. And so I tried them out, and I've been training in them, and I love them. I also just think it's a really cool way for me to give back to the community and for him to help promote me as a player and as a professional athlete. And so it seems like a mutual partnership where I can get kind of that following, or maybe some young girls like see me based off him and his like social media posts, and then I can also help promote his boots and maybe tell them about people around me and be like, hey, check out Uno Zero. Like, so yeah, I've really loved working with him. He's incredible. His story is incredible, and it's been really nice just being able to be partners through it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's great to hear. And I think it's great that you recognize, I hope you recognize, what a role model you can be for young girls out there anywhere, not, nowadays with social media, not just around the Fort Lauderdale area as a professional player. And I'm not just telling you that as a coach, I'm telling you that as a parent. I have $2 of my own, and they need more role models like you out there to look up to as a professional soccer player. So, again, Ella Simpson, from Fort Lauderdale United. Ella, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk a little soccer with us here. I know you're very busy, and you need to get a break now for the next couple of weeks to regroup and have a strong second half to your season.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And until next time, straight from the training ground.